Oh yeah, the Black of the Ink. That's a book that I'm co-editing with Francis Gatewort, Dr. Francis Gatewort, and it is a collection of scholarly essays about black identity. The entire title is "The Black of the Ink: Constructions of Black Identity in American Comics." You know, and it's not just superheroes. It's pieces on the semiotics of black costumes, about different aspects of identity. There's a piece on Bayou, there's a piece on Incognito, things of that nature. And so we're trying to look at black identity in a broader spectrum, you know. There's a piece on King by Ho Che Anderson, you know, and just to look at the medium and how it's been dealing with black identity in a general sense, not just in the superhero genre, but just in the multifaceted, rich culture that, you know, African Americans have. So. And so that's an ongoing thing. We're hoping to get that together pretty soon, but you know it's been kind of slow. But it's gonna. But you know how the academic publishing can be, so you know.
Anything else? Open mic. Anything else you want to add?
Okay.
Work or anything?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. We have like three things I want to mention. One is Damien and I are adapting a short story by Christopher D. Benson, who is a professor in journalism and African American studies at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Christopher is he's best known for his work with the Emmett Till case. He did with Emmett Till Mobley the definitive book, I guess, on the case. I would say, and but he's also a mystery writer too. He does mystery short stories. So very in the frame of like a Walter Mosley or Elmore Leonard kind of style. To a certain degree, not to pigeonhole him, but he basically contacted us because he wanted us to adapt it into a graphic novel, and so it's called Double Dealing, and we've been working on it for a while. Right now we're in the editing phase, but we're hoping to hopefully we'll try to finish it over the summer. But it features a character who's based on Leon Dash. Actually, his name is Dash, so there's no, and he basically is he's living in a part of town that has a lot of crime and there's a murder, and he's trying to basically get to the bottom of the murder without being implicated himself. So it's kind of like this whodunit kind of piece, and we're looking forward to working on that. Agents of Sleep is a all readers piece that we're working on right now. That's going to be a webcomic on blacksci-fi.com. It features this character called Malady Jenkins, who is a dream jumper. She's an African American teenager. She's like 15. Her partner in this piece is called Darewolf. So basically, like if you take James Bond and a werewolf and fuse them together, you get Darewolf. And then the villain, one of the villains, is a living nightmare. He's basically the worst thing I could think of. So when I made him up, I was like, okay, what can I create that's going to be a living nightmare that is going to be the worst thing I could think of? And it's like I took an octopus and a clown and fused it together. So his name is Octoclown. So basically, SLEEP stands for Somnambular Extranormal Events Police, and it's like or the sleepwalkers. And what they do is they police the dream time. The gentleman who created SLEEP is called Dr. Dreamcatcher, and who's this Aborigine scientist. And he got the idea because in Aboriginal mythology, the world came from a dream, the dream time. And so basically they fight these things called the night terrorists, and they're trying to stop them from getting these dream artifacts that can control everybody's dreams and stuff. So that's a piece we're working on right now. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is, well, maybe not the last thing, but Pitch. Pitch, Shadow and Fact, it's a piece that I am writing and illustrating. It's a semi-autobiographical piece, and it's about an African-American fine artist and professor of visual arts, that sounds familiar, who is literally haunted by trauma victims. So the ancestors, like slaves who died violently, lynching victims, people who have been murdered, things of that nature, they actually come and visit him, and he sees them. He has the gift of second sight, or whatever you want to call that, and he paints them. They want him to paint them, and so he gives them a physicality. So this whole idea of like taking people who have suffered some type of social death and then giving them a visage, giving them closure, and then they can move on, right? And so, and sometimes he'll fall asleep and he'll actually wake up and he's painted a painting or something like that. So so it's kind of like a medium. And sometimes he also gets called by the police or different detectives to go to a site and pick up vibes, so to speak, And so in this particular book that I'm writing, he's dealing with the death of his grandmother, who also had this power and who was his teacher. And he's born in Mississippi, raised, and went to Chicago, that kind of piece. And when I was going through the tenure process, I had a lot of deaths in my family. My grandmother, who helped raise me, my father, my uncle, I had a cousin who unfortunately committed suicide. And so I wasn't able to really process a lot of this. So actually, this particular character is a way for me to deal with those ideas about grief and letting go, but also in a broader sense to talk about issues about representation in the art world, to talk about racism and kind of a westernized idea of what good art is, you know, that kind of thing. And so it has all these kind of complex ideas. And so I'm hoping to finish that pretty soon. It's a 200-page graphic novel. And like I said, I'm writing, illustrating, and lettering it, you know. And it's going, right now I'm kind of at a crossroads because of work or whatever, but, you know, I'm really excited about it. Yeah. And the super last thing, I'm actually adapting a graphic novel for Nnedi Okorafor. And I'm not sure if you've heard of Nnedi Okorafor. She is a Nigerian-American children's sci-fi writer. She teaches at Chicago State University. The book that I'm adapting for is called Zara the Windseeker. It won the Wosoyinka Literary Prize for Africa. That's her first book. Second book just won the Parallax Award. It's called The Shadow Speaker. Third book is called Who Fears Death, and it comes out this summer. It's our first adult sci-fi book. It's based on issues around the Sudan. But basically, we've been working together on putting together a pitch for this book, and you know, it's going really well. And so Zara basically takes place on another planet where everyone is obviously descended from, you know, from African descent, and the society is totally in tune with nature. So the ecosystem and the technology and everything is based off of, you know, just a holistic, kind of like a biomimicry, you know, that kind of thing, in a sustainable society. And basically what happens is Zara, who is the main character, she has this thing called dada locks, which is like certain people are born with plants growing out of their dreadlocks, you know, and it allows them to fly. And so, but she thinks that she's an outsider and this kind of thing. And basically, it's kind of a hero's journey, you know, coming of age story where she has to actually like find this particular egg in this forbidden forest that is part of the cure for her best friend. So I'm really excited about it. And it's a great book, actually. I mean, it's for teenagers, you know, tweens in particular, but I was reading, I really enjoyed it. It's reminiscent of, say, Tolkien's work, Douglas Adams' work. I mean, you can see her influences, but she puts a really cool, like, Afrofuturist, Afrocentric spin on it, you know? Yeah.